And if you wanted to put another row in here, if you remember from the beginning of the video, I chose 4 equal lengths of cordage. And to make these little holes or diamonds or squares smaller, by adding another piece, say if you want to do 5, you would make this smaller. That's where sort of the theory comes in, but 4 definitely works. And slowly but surely, you just keep making your way up towards the top. This is a nice little project to do if you're got music on in the background, talk radio, movie, you don't care about what's happening on, you just want to listen to something. And it's nice just to be around people and have good conversation when you're doing like this. Someone else is doing a craft, you're doing this. It's really good conversations with people. Obviously I'm talking to you and Stony's just sitting here pointing the camera. I'm sure he's having conversations in his head. Probably thinking about what he's going to eat for supper later. Nope, he don't care. He doesn't eat. It's amazing.
I'm a breatharian.
Anything he ingests is the air of this earth. Somehow it just keeps ticking with really low amounts of energy. It's getting a little crazy sitting under this tarp. It is so humid out. You see, once I put a little bit of pressure, or start to pull it open a little bit, once there's weight in this, now it's kind of crunched on itself, but when I'd open this up and push it, you can see how it's going to kind of spread, and where, if the knot's even or not, where it kind of pulls to one side or the other. But like I said, you do not have to be, quote, perfect with this, but if that's your personality, by all means, you know, take the time, make it look as pretty as you can, even as you can. It's already going to be a long video. So far, not too many critters have seek refuge under our tarp. I'm alright with that. And this is the tarp. Behind me, this is where I put the patch in my tarp. And we've been rained on for a while now, probably a good half hour. And so far, no drips, no leaks. Holding really well, really pleased with it. Let's see, where am I? Lost my spot. So let me just pull this tight real quick and get the general look now of what this is going to look like. And I'll probably have some leftover paracord, but that's all right. Keep working. Probably do 1 or 2 more rows. And when you get to the end, if you have leftovers, that's up to you if you want to cut it off or not. What's great about this is if you're carrying this into the bush, you're going to use it. I'm okay with having a little bit of strands hanging off of this at the end if it's not all neat and even looking, because that little bit of extra paracord, you know, could actually make a huge difference in something I was trying to do. If I needed to deassemble this, I'd have that little bit of extra, maybe that extra foot added up on all these will make this completely useful or not. Actually, at this point, I guess I can take off. Well, I'll keep it on. I'll keep this on for now. Just keep it nice on the bottle. But like I was saying, if you wanted to cut this off at the end, which I'll show it when you get to the end, you could. But like I said, if you already cut it down to length, what are you going to do with like 5-inch, strands of paracord if you trim this off to make it look neat? I don't know. It's up to you, obviously personal preference, but it won't bother me so much. There's some things I want clean and neat, I can't let it go. But this isn't one of them. I'm okay with having a little bit of extra paracord on the top or hanging down. I'll just weave it through here. And the length, which I did my arm lengths kind of stretched out, that's really going to depend too on your kind of the width, the girth of your bottle, the height of it. All that going to come into play on how much you actually need to start with. So, like I said, there's some trial and error. You're probably going to have some left over regardless, but it's up to you if you want to cut it off or keep it.
getting there. I'm just eyeballing it now, make sure I got all my knots even. I finished this row. I'm gonna make sure I'm not there. Looks pretty good. Now at this point, I guess I really could stop. As you can see, they're all pretty much at the shoulder, and I got a lot left over here. And like I said, I could cut this off. The first time I made this, I didn't nearly have this much left over. I might have just made these knots a little bit farther apart. But what I can do, I'll just start maybe. I may just bring these close. Maybe I'll just do, how about we just start the, I'll do one more. I'll do one more tight overhand. How about that? Actually, I'm going to take this off now. I'm going to take off my taut line. So I was using it as a brace. Make sure the holes aren't too big at the bottom. Test. Holds. It worked out pretty well. Just using that little ring of paracord. And like I was trying to say earlier, see, this isn't going to open, but this opening, if you're not conscious and you're making these knots too far apart, you can get a hole very easy that this will slip through. So you just something to keep in mind. Do another overhand up here. One more row of overhands. Make it a little bit tighter on itself. That's weird doing it that way. I gotta turn it back around. And please share your experiences. If you have a method, you've tried this, maybe some ideas on how I could finish this, make it a little bit cleaner and neater at the top with this extra paracord. Maybe a couple daisy chains somewhere, this or that. By all means, let me know, leave a comment. Trying to learn as much as I can. No birds chirping yet, but it's slowing down and it's getting lighter, but haven't heard any birds chirping yet. Two more, and I'll call the structure of it good. Then after this, when I get this good to where I want it, I'm going to show you how to do the adjustable, excuse me, the adjustable shoulder sling, which basically just comprises of a double fisherman knots on a longer piece of cordage, and the double fisherman's knots, two of them, allows you to adjust the length of the rope or the sling, whatever you want to call it. And that has a lot of applications as well, just the theory behind why that works and what you can use if you just want an adjustable strap. Just a little bit. One more. Foot starting to fall asleep. Our right foot, in case you cared. All right, calling that good, folks. There we go. In its unfinished quote stages, like I said, look at all this extra. You know, I could just cut this off right here, burn them, have it clean and neat. Could also, I'll show you just on one. Could just weave these down through here. Because honestly, I don't like throwing away paracord. I don't like cutting off this little bit of strands because they're not going to have really a life after this. So I'll just keep it on it. I'll do that. I could even tie some knots around these. Now I'm thinking about it. I could even tie these to this, and I'll keep keep the structure. So if I just wanted to do maybe something like this. Just thinking about this on the fly right now with this extra. I have that from here. Keep this where I want it. Tie that there. I can just keep maybe continuing this down. Yeah, sure. And I'll just continue this down then. I can keep this paracord on it. Paracord will be out of the way. And I have the length if I need to take this apart. And then I could, if I needed a long piece of cord, by having these 4 smaller ones, I can use the sheets bend, double sheets bend, weaver's bend, whatever you want to call that, and have a length of paracord that's pretty strong if I need it. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I like how this is staying out of the way now, but it's also kind of keeping with the integrity of the holder. Alright, so you get the idea, and that's just one idea right there. And I'll just continue this the whole way down. I can maybe put a reef nut, square knot in there. Let me just change my legs. I can't feel my right one. Oh. Alright, so now the next step is for the shorter sling. Looking for an extra piece of cordage I thought I had lying around. Bear with me. Oh, yeah, she's lost to the wolves. I'll take this one apart on this one and just show you since it's right in front of me. A little out of sorts because we had to run under this tarp to finish this video, but that's alright. Alright, take this off. So I have a length of cordage here that there's 1 arm length, and then plus it's at another 1.5 feet, 2 feet probably. And this works out pretty well. You could probably even have it a little bit longer, but I think this will work really well. So the theory behind this then, so I'm going back to my bottle, and I need to attach this to my bottle. So I'm going to thread this through basically 2 sides. And since I kind of weaved on this side, my extra length, I'm going to start with here, one end of it, and I'm going to take my other end that's unoccupied right now and go the opposite side of the water bottle and put it under here. And then if you follow me up top here, let me just get this in my hand and I'll try to show it to you. So basically right now I have it doubled over on itself, and I'm going to tie the fisherman knot, but you can see where it's kind of connecting to the bottle, how it wraps around itself. Alright, so now to do the double fisherman's, I'll just do it down here. As I got a working end here. It's going to be backwards since I'm facing the camera, but basically I've done a video on how to do this, but I'm going to tie it around. I'm just going to do these quick. Reference the video if you need to. Tight. There's one. And now I'll grab my other working end, and reverse it. Do my other double fisherman's knot. And the best way to learn any knot, hitch, loop, repetition, repetition, repetition. Oops. Came out of your sleeve. And there we go. And what makes this adjustable is that these slide on this at length here. Wish I could stand up, but basically these both slide. You see the distance between these two right now, right? I'm going to slide them closer to each other. It's going to make this longer. It takes out that, and it makes it long, or excuse me, makes it, this is as short as it's going to be. The closest they are, the shorter it's going to be, and I'll slide them apart, and it makes it longer, as you can see. Get that angle. Slide them farther apart, makes this longer. You get the idea. If this isn't clear, I can just do a separate video on specifically how to make a shorter sling, but this is it, in a nutshell. Paracord water bottle holder. This is Krik signing out. Black Outdoors. Later, turtles.